All right, so we've talked about collaborating, sharing, formatting, some other tools. We're just going to get to a few more tools that teachers can use and administrators can use in the school setting. The first is the table of contents. I said I was going to get back to text style, and this is where we're going to do that. So first, I'm going to rename my document. I just created a new one. The other one was getting a little unruly. So I'm going to call this, this will be like our parent-student handbook, which could be done through Docs, and we could save tons of paper because we usually end up handing out lots and lots and lots of books that probably don't need to be printed. So in a standard handbook, you're going to have things like academic policies, extracurriculars, and of course other things too, like hot lunch. So you're going to have all these different categories. And then you probably will even have things underneath each of those. So under academic policies, we have things like grades and late work and et cetera, et cetera. And under extracurriculars, just get a few of those down there: basketball, chess club, and painting club. So we have these categories and these subcategories, and it would be great. And usually what ends up happening is the administrative assistant creates this table of contents. They have to do all the dots. If a new page gets added, it messes up all the page numbers. They have to change all those, and Docs makes it simpler. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change the text style. So for these main headings, I'm going to call those heading 1s. Change a few of those. Hot lunch apparently is important enough to have its own heading. And then for each of these subcategories, I'm also going to have a style, and that's going to be a heading 2. And of course, under each of these, you'd have, what you're actually going to say about basketball. This sport is designed, da 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 da. Under chess club, you'd have in this club. So you'd have all the text too, but I'm just showing you the heading styles and how that's going to work in a table of contents. So at the top of my document, now I'm going to insert table of contents, and the table of contents interacts directly with those heading styles. So once I click it, you can see it created this table from the different types of styles that I have down here. So now this is the best part, and this is what everyone loves when I don't have to re-page number everything. You can see I didn't originally include painting club. Basketball and chess are the only ones in there. Well, if I add a heading 2 to that, it didn't change my table yet, but if I click in the table and do a refresh, it adds that heading 2, which is pretty awesome. And maybe I just want one giant heading 1, which is policies, and I have a whole bunch of things under that. You get my point. It adjusts based on what you're doing down here, and it just saves enormous amounts of time. So once I click in here, I can go to grades, and it'll shoot me down to that section. So that's table of contents. Awesome. Great thing. We can save lots of paper. Another thing that might be useful in a document, which is similar to a table of contents, but I don't have to mess with headings and things like that, is, let's say, in one part of the document I mentioned hot lunch up here, and down here is where I actually start talking about hot lunch. What I can do is add something called a bookmark. So down here, I can insert the bookmark. So that bookmark has been made. I didn't change the style of the text at all. But up here, what I do, you may remember another option under the link, there wasn't just web address, but there was bookmark, and I can choose that one that I have. So now it's somewhat similar to a table of contents, but I don't have to deal with headings, and it can be, I guess, slightly less organized if I want to jump around a document with links. That's how I do it here. It takes me down to that section. So a table of contents, bookmarks. 2 last things. First, I just want to jump over here to remind you of the types of files you can upload, import, convert, export, because again, most of us have been working in those other productivity suites, so we need to bring in files of this type, sometimes send them out. If you want to pause, take a look at that, you're welcome to. just wanted to let you know about that. The last thing is extremely useful in the classroom, and that's the use of templates. So something we mentioned was, within Google, I'm back in Drive here, I can create from template, and people have created all kinds of different templates that I can use. And this takes you to a public template gallery, and there's plenty of useful things in here. But there are times where I just want to create things for my classroom and use those. So what I'm going to do now is switch to my school account. This is my school account. And I can create a template that students can use. So one way I can do that, is share out a doc. All the students make a copy and then they share it with me and then they rename it, and I can do all that and that'd be fine. But a simpler way is just to create a template. So let's say, I think you get to presentations later. Let's say I create a presentation because all my students made a paper on a historical figure, and I want them all to use basically the same template because I want, historical figures name by your name, and then I can add a slide, and I can do her early life, and then maybe even add some bullet points for them, that they have to add some points, and then maybe one more slide. And these are likely the same, topics that they addressed in the paper, and maybe I want more bullet points, something like that. So instead of sharing out a presentation, I'd probably call this history presentation template. I'd probably even call it template. So I save it like that. Instead of just sharing this out and making everyone make a copy, what I can now do is submit this to a template gallery within my domain, and students can access it, I think, more easily. So now let me flip over to my school account, and I have created one of these before. So now I do create from template. When students do this, it defaults to within the domain. So you can see I haven't done much, just like a quiz and this history template. So all students need to do is do create from template, and right here they can see I just have to click use this template. What it does is it puts a copy in their drive, at which point I'd probably have them rename it with that historical person's name. The other thing you can do within templates is, you see down here there are categories. I've created 4 within our domain. And so if many teachers are using this, you just end up having teachers submit it to the appropriate place. Students come in, I know I'm a 6th grader, they jump into 6th grade and they find the templates there. Now, how do I get something to the template gallery? Well, if I've created it, I can't actually do it from here. There's no file submit to template gallery. So the way I have to do it is I have to jump out of the actual doc. It can certainly be a document, presentation, spreadsheet. What I do is I check it, and then I come in, and you'll see a submit to template gallery there. Now, within a domain, let's see that. So go back to my drive. If I select this document, you're going to notice, actually, first of all, there's no submit to template gallery down here, and that's because this is actually the practice doc that I shared for my personal account, and my school account is in the owner. My personal account's the owner. So what I have to do is pick something that I'm the owner of, like this chess note, and now I can submit to template gallery. I can enter a description, whatever it is, and then I can pick, my grade, and I don't have to do other grades, and then I submit template, and I've noticed it takes anywhere from a couple minutes to even longer, but it's not terribly long, and soon that template will be in the gallery. Once it's in the gallery, I can certainly adjust things. You can see edit details, take it out of the gallery altogether. But I'm guessing you're seeing how templates can be extremely useful in the classroom, and I think it probably gets us closer to this. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but a lot of people are talking about it, and I think through templates, through collaboration, through sharing, all through documents, you're probably seeing how we can possibly get closer to this.